Puzzle bag. Puzzle bag.
Hey on, what's on? Welcome. Come on in, come on in.
Guess who's had sleep?
This guy. I am going to be a problem. Verdant first. Watto and welcome. Hello, hello. How are you doing, you lovely Mother Hubbards? Let me update the boards. Tell folks that we're kicking. Natter at you freely about them video games. Have I played Slay the Sleep? No, that was last week. Just so you know, currently it's Lance, Yeti, and Verton all at one for this month. Yeah, welcome to the Pokespire-a-thon mass launch day. Kind of glad we're playing Blueprints today, because what a mosh pit. I am going to be picking up a copy of Marathon when I can. I'm hoping, well, the plan is to play it this Saturday with you all. So if any of you fall on the Marathon scale, Eaglebirds, Kakazi, Watto, and welcome. If any of you fall on the Marathon scale, you are cordially invited. So yeah, come on in, friends, come on in. There is game news to talk about. Let's just get the puzzle sickos in here. Captain Stephanie Barnes, also and welcome. I mean, and I say this with the absolute love and respect, is which flavor of the spectrum did you land on? The Pokemon, Marathon, or Slay the Spire parts? Vershi, Watto and welcome. The John Deere Enjoyer. Conspector Chornerus, Watto and welcome. Guess who's had sleep? This guy. And Kakazi, like, it's all good. Like, I think it's teams of 3 anyway. So, again, if anyone's picking up Marathon this week, I'm hoping to play it with you all
Reactor
on
online.
Saturday.
Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Can't stick around today, just wanted to pop in and contribute some chat metrics and renew my sub. Have a great stream, all.
Fuck yeah. Well, Fuzzski, thank you kindly. I hope you're doing splendid. You've kept that going for 26 months, which is no small fee. I really appreciate it. So yeah. May you sell a squillion copies so I can mooch off you in future years. I think this is the reason why I have a terrible sleep pattern, is when I actually get rest, I am...
She bungled my Mara till I think.
Avenger! The fuck are you doing? Thank you. What the shit? I mean, the one day I'm actually emotionally equipped to deal with. Avenger, you're losing that Yaldum anytime soon. So seriously, thank you.
There are no small feats, only small shoes to fill.
Exactly. All feet are correct, except for when they're gross. Puns. Thank you, mate. Come on in, friends. Come on in. Dice. Alnis. Hello, everyone. Seriously, Avenger, $50 is a large amount of cash. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, it feels weird for all the just cacophony of releases today. We're not anywhere near the big, the big boat show. It's wild. Also, we found out from the new Pokemon game the story behind ghostly glowing Pikachu, and it's really fucking sad. Aww. Well, Puns, I hope your first day back was good. Like I said, I actually slept yesterday, so I am hyper over-energized. Can't be any more screwed up than Cubones. Pokemon being sad about ghost types. Oh wow, you know what? Okay. Alright, Wolfgrad, Watto and welcome. Everybody come on in. It's alright, Hypno went out and kidnapped those sad Pokemon fans. Oh. No, I was saying to Little Fire before we got started, I feel so bad for anybody else doing a release today. So, if you didn't see it, yesterday we played Child of Lana 2. Now, even through all the sleep deprivation, that game was gorgeous. And a proper true sequel to its first one, which was also beautiful. I didn't realise, though, we got early code yesterday. Today is actually when it comes out, and I'm just like, you poor bastards. You poor bastards. Because if you haven't seen, in our circles, the big three releases are new Pokemon, Marathon, Bungie's new hyper pop graphics card coded extraction shooter, and Slay the Spire 2. Slay the Spire 2 is exactly the kind of game that does crazy numbers on Steam. And it is doing crazy numbers on Steam. And I just fucking feel for them, you know? I'm so happy that Null and the squad released the Killing Stone like a couple weeks ago. Because imagine if they wait till this week. So, I'm catching up with the game news. Yes, I think the Xbox announcement is PR, garbo, and horseshit. And we can just sell it pre-built? Honestly, John Deere, I wouldn't be surprised right now if the Xbox Next Console is just a fucking drawing on a napkin. It's a distract and engagement movement, right? So like, Sarah Bond's gone, and everything bad was Sarah's fault. That's the company line they're sticking to. And a new person's come in, and everyone's gone, we fucking hate you. Because you're an AI slop farmer and a weird conspiracy theorist. Not conspiracy theorist, the, one of those birth rate lunatics. So they're like, ah, shit, we need to distract. New console! Is there anything to do with it? No, it's just a code name and a logo. New console! Well, fuck off. Fuck off. It's gonna work, obviously, because everyone's talking about it, but... you know what, Rodster? If everything's a napkin, and so if everything's Xbox, so is the napkin. And everything's a napkin if you're enough of a fucking mess. But yeah, like, there's no point debating what it may or may not be, or what is and is not in it, because it's just a big old distraction tactic. Xbox Series 6. It's probably got the dumbest fucking name. But then again, I like Project Natal as a name, so... And I thought the Revolution was a better name than the Wii, but the fuck do I know? As for what else has been going on today, if you have played Arc Raiders, be sure to update the shit out of it, as the Discord integration stuff just exposed everybody's everything. If you didn't play Arc Raiders, congratulations, you get to feel a little bit smug this morning, like me! 2x 2-box joystick drift! Can anyone top that one? And PBS, what's and welcome. Come on in, friends, come on in. Our AI didn't understand, stored in plain text, right? Feels a little bit vibe-coded. Arc Raiders, more like knocked on all gamers. That's actually really good. Bright Karma, Watto, and welcome. We should have a gaming website with all that free time we all have. We could match Eurogamer pun for pun, hands down, hands down. So, how are you all doing? Are any of you leaping into Slay the Spire and the Ilk yet? Weirdly, I don't feel the need to ask, is it good? We know it's going to be good. That team made so much money, they got to wait until they were ready to release. I can't really give you... What do you think the Escapists cost nowadays? $5? Yeah, Avenger, they'll actually give us $5 if we pick up the brand. Just kidding, it sells gambling now. Could set up a website that's just a JPEG of the screen. No, that's going to be our games industry website. Virtue's playing his own game. It's called Lay on the Pyre, and it's lit. Sadly unrelated to Pyre. Oh, well, Bright Karma. I know it's minor and you'll be fine, but good luck all the same. Rest well. Sadly, I will not be about tomorrow in the standard capacity. I'm hoping I'll be able to stream tomorrow's Make a Game in an Hour panel from my phone. So it won't be the classiest of streams, but it will be a stream. But then Saturday I'll be about. Let's say I'm planning on playing Quad, the 64 Quake-inspired game. You know what I love, Rodser? I can turn around and go, wait, which Quake 64 inspired game? Because there's, I don't know, is Kook out yet? That one's got like fucking time travel, that's got like time warping shit. No, Kook's not out yet, it hasn't been announced, okay. Because that looks great. Yeah. Poor bastards. Games released today that were on my list were... Okay, so Desynced and Banquet of Fools are both hitting version 1, so that's okay. There's a Viking game I'm hoping to show you all next week called Cromlech. For some reason, that launched in early access today. And yeah, Planet of Lana. Homies, no. Just give yourself another week. 2 weeks even. Pun says, Icarus releasing a big DLC free update. That'll be fun. Nice. Like I said, I haven't talked to Dean in like a million squillion years. But, you know, I'm not unhappy to see it doing well, you know what I mean? Just kind of wish he'd done Icarus from the jump, but that's another story. Business Marine Mammal would like a word. Well, Business Marine Mammal didn't get voted onto the board. Business Fish did. And he's joining us in a bit. I didn't see anything else aside from the Xbox Series distraction. Aside from the Arc Raiders security flaw. I saw a weird thing today though, which was like the double header of 2 VR studios shutting down and 1 VR publisher spooling up, which is strange. PVS, I did see that Xalavir... Oh, Littlefire told me before I saw it that Xalavir is going to be the PAX East keynote, which is fucking great. You know? It's just that thing of like... Not everyone will be able to work with the Turtles in Time brand, but the strange scaffold methodology of making games from the jump is emulatable. It's doable. You know, if you and your homies got together today, 10 or 15 years, you could have a functioning indie studio that is your full-time job. Sure, 10 years is a long time, but, you know, back in the day, how long would you get before you got to make your own game? Well, uni, QA, join a studio, gain enough knowledge and experience to make your own game, and then make your own game. How long would that take? So, couldn't be finer. GDC is scrambling for their keynote speaker. They've managed to secure, what's his name? One of the ex-Blizzard guys. Hookshot says I'm at year 6 and it ain't getting easier. It's coming, it's coming. And Hookshot, how are you doing, friend? Watto and welcome. Can't you just yell dibs and kill the project lead? Sadly, no. Turns out people get real arsey. Which ex-Blizzard guy, though? I don't know. I just assume they're all one blob. Well, it's... Okay. I love Ran. I love Mega Ran stuff. I'm gonna skip ahead, though, because otherwise I'm gonna want to sing along. For those who don't know, so for GDC, it was supposed to be Hideo Kojima as the big keynote opener. And he was, like, about a month ago, he was like, nah, fuck that. So yeah, let me see which fucking ex-Blizzard bloke they've pulled out of the fucking woodwork. I mean, we talked about stuff like the Mind's Eye guy and AI brain rot yesterday. Is it Joe from HR? I think it's Joe from HR. Virtue said Kojima heard there'd be a voice actor paid a reasonable rate, is now treating it like a professional protest. Rob Pardo is going to be the one hosting the GDC keynote. Sure. I mean, Bonfire Studios is at least looking like it's going to release its thing. Oh, they're the ones making Arc Heron, which is kind of like a 3v3 Mobbery thing. Cool, I guess. The demo did fine at Steam Next Fest. I mean, it was okay. The demo was completely overshadowed by other games, but I mean, not to start on a dark note. We all know the reason why he's not coming to GDC is because traveling to the US is a huge risk, and I mean, it's literally called Kojima Productions. If he gets whisked away to a black site, there is no Kojima Productions. You know. Like, I haven't fully planned out what we're going to be doing next week for our faux GDC week. Or Hookshot. There are lots of routes that one cannot travel to Australia right now. It's a shit show. Anyway. DJ Coil, congrats for bringing the Opus Magnum flow to everybody. For those who don't know, Opus Magnum's gonna be getting more DLC, which is a wonderful announcement, but has done us all a little damage. And what was very funny last night is I forget who started it, but DJ Coil definitely posted some of their Opus Magnum creations, and the rest of us were like, bet. I am probably the worst one here in terms of like high scores and success at Opus Magnum, but I finished it with Nightmare Creations, which I'm very proud of. Did you? Hang on, let's have a look. Dustin, I didn't see any of your creations. No, it was me, Shackle, Coil. Oh, there we go. Damn it, almost missed those. I do like your, the Golden Vortex. That one is gorgeous. I did make one that looks like a laser blaster, which I'm very proud of. Yes, alright, so it was Dustin who kicked it off. My apologies. In my defense, even after my little, like, Resident Evil nap yesterday, I was still a bit of a mess. And last night I slept, and it was amazing. And now I have too much energy. Well, Rod, sir, that's the thing. If it's stupid and it works, it's not stupid. And that's where I really, really love Opus Magnum, right? Because it says, hey, if you want to compete with your friends, if you really want to get into the shit, get into the shit. But if you just want to do it, that's okay. That counts, right? And I think a lot of those, like, construct and puzzle games seem to miss that. That not everyone's about optimization. Some people just want to kind of be. Yeah, Verdant. Resident Sleeple. Vortex is elegant. Bar crawl is a comedy road trip. Yeah. Like, does my little piston need to do weird little dances during? Nah. But is it fun? Fuck yeah. Me? Bear with me a second, friends. Sorry. Anyway, so today is kind of the start of this month's like cacophony of releases that will be hitting pretty much every sphere. Like, I don't think that the quality threshold is going to be more pronounced than today. The fact that Slay the Spire is going to have multiplayer, I think, is fucking brilliant. Mainly because I'm not very good at Slay the Spire, but I can just kidnap Ket and hold him against his will, and then be able to finish Slay the Spire. It'd be brilliant. You know, I'll use my people skills to dominate the world of deck builders. But yeah, I didn't see anything else. I was just quickly skimming the varying things. Pragmata's moving its release date. I guess because Capcom's feeling confident about having all of the cash. So yeah. Yeah, Alnus, it's... I mean, here's the thing. It's not a...
I suggest playing the Silencer's best deck. It's a hit, man.
Harriman, well played, well played. Thank you. Oh, and Hoffers, did I say hi? I hope I did. What unwelcome if not. Yeah, like, it's not a complete death nail. It's just... You have to essentially consider that launch 1 failed and you need another launch. If you are doing something similar to like an early access, then what you need is a big old content kick. And honestly, take the rest of the week off. Like, every news site that I've checked today is either talking about Pokemon or Marathon, with a smidgen of Arc Raiders shit the bed. Oh, and the Xbox distraction. Arc Raiders, shit the bed. Yeah, Dustin basically won with Narc Raiders. Okay, I saw that. I'll, There we go. Oh, so Rodser, Arc Raiders has like a Discord connection thing. Turns out that was all open, unencoded, everything. So any and all messages you have, your friends, your info, any DMs you've sent to people, if you hooked it up to Arc Raiders, anyone could just look at that. It was all just plain text. Which kind of smacks of vibe coding, which, from what we know of that studio, yeah, that's a big whoopsie doodles. And PVS, I only saw the... I didn't see where the rumors of a Firefly restart are coming from. At this point, I feel like I've lived through so many rumors of a new Firefly. And also, like, who's doing it? You know, I wasn't excited about the Buffy reboot attempt until I found out that, like, one, Whedon's not invited, and Sarah Michelle Gellar's heading it up. And I was like, all right, okay, we can make this work. like, Nathan heading it up could be good. So, we'll see. We'll see. You know? We've come a long way since Firefly. And Bright, so you should. Actually, Bright, if you don't have this on, this one is an old classic banger from the OC remix days. But this Game Shop's party mix crossed my little feed, and I was like, you know what? Fuck yeah. I haven't. These are all classics from back in the day. Ehrman, that would sign me up so hard. I mean, I'm still. Whedon poisons that fucking well so hard, and it still pissed me off. And it's that weird thing of, like, in certain regards, you can't separate, like, you cannot separate the art from the artist in certain situations in any way, shape, or form. Like, you can't. Sorry. Like, you can Hatsune Miku quite a lot of Buffy, although there are some weird fucking parts to it. Like, realizing that Xander is Wheaton, and that he thinks that Xander is one of the heroes and not a fucking asshole is wild. But, like, Dollhouse? Dollhouse gave me the ick conceptually when I first saw it, but I was like, you know what, it can't be that bad. Now I'm just like, I love the concept with Firefly that the cast was specifically chosen from people who had worked on Buffy, but because this cast was established, they couldn't add any more new characters. That these people who've done great jobs with side characters were all going to be brought together. Yeah, well, I mean, PBS, it was a different time, like, we don't know. Yeah, I mean, Bright Karma, that's why, again, some of the original cast heading up the Buffy reboot, you know, Xander is a real person. He does not feel like a stand-in. It's just the realization that he was written not... Yeah, anyway, you all know it as well as I do. Favor 6 by turn, welcome. So yeah.
To the owner of the cheese sandwiches I've been eating. I understand now that you're still wrong, and stop trying to poison me through sandwiches. Poison me in person.
Poison me in person, you coward. Poison me to my face. Akari, thank you for the 200. How you holding up? So yeah, you know, I would love some good Firefly to return, but my heart's been broken too many times, you know. And I had a fling with The Expanse. That Expanse was fucking good. Now, I haven't read the books of The Expanse, so I don't know how the comparative is, but Belter Loader. Belter Loader. Yeah. Oh, and Vershi, they killed him off like that. One of the actors on The Expanse was found out to be a very bad person. So they killed his character with no hesitation. And it wasn't like, you know, yeah, they just done. You're replaced now. The books go further along. I heard. Oh, and just as a weird aside, on top of everything else right now, the re-release of Poker Night at the Inventory dropped today. as if somehow you didn't have enough things with cards in them. You know what, Verdant? We haven't had like a good Metal Gear Solid 4 style fist brawl in a space show. We deserve that. Like a zero G, they live, just beat down. Well, that's the thing, Moose, with what's-her-face, the fucking trash scumbag who was in The Mandalorian, they just were like, nah, you're not coming back. You know, the character never returned. With The Expanse, he never came back, and the character just dies. Just dies. They just kill him. I think he goes out for like a brain aneurysm or something. Oh shit, Virtue's like they rewrote and refilmed part of that season because they'd already done work. Yeah, and I mean, again, I haven't read the books, but I felt out of all the shows that I've gotten super keen for, I felt The Expanse stuck the landing. And also, just so you know, friends, if you're here listening to me on this Twitch.tv, you'd probably be a belter. You'd be a belter, let's be honest. So yeah, friends, I don't think there's anything else, like, game news dropping right now. You know, it's one of those Thursdays. Versus is not me. I'd be an NCRN Navy. I was a shithead as a teen. I was also a shithead as a teen, but I was very smash the state. I'm still... When I think about The Expanse, though, I do think about how far we still have to go in terms of technology for video games. You know? We have a few big space games, but you have to acknowledge a lot of conceits to play them. Every time I find myself skimming over Space Engineers and looking at some of the Rocinante builds and things like that, I'm just like, you could do that. But I don't know if you've played Space Engineers multiplayer. You have to suffer through a lot for great moments, and those moments are great. Like I said many times, like when I was at Rocketworks, we used to do like big in-office games on the weekends, and the one that we did was a lot of Factorio, a lot of Space Engineers, and one of the squad there actually built a functioning carrier. And there was like lots of cool things, like because you're in zero G, you can stack your ships up and down inside a large hangar. It's really cool. But anytime it bugged out, like we'd have to bounce the server, everyone would be sitting around and, you know, yelling at each other. But I cannot state how much fun it was when we actually dropped out of warp onto a pirate outpost and then just everyone's homemade fighters launching out. It was fucking brilliant. You know, from a technological standpoint, when we get to the state where anybody can make that kind of game, it's going to get really interesting, you know? And people have tried. God, people have tried. Yeah. Hookshot, I stumbled upon this thing the other day, which was a functioning Zaku in Space Engineers. Let me see if I can find it. Please tell me I put it on my like list. Of course I fucking didn't. What an idiot. Oh well. But yeah, the things that people are creating in that, like, there are loads of Gundam builds, but there are very few, like, actually functioning ones, because you don't have to program the damn thing to work. Like, creating a mech in Space Engineers, you might as well just make a whole game with the amount of time it would take you. But people do it, and it's fucking brilliant. You know, the reason why we don't have more games like that is they're insanely hard to make. You know, kind of traditional dogfighting games, not as bad, but also a very, very small market. You know, you've got to have something as well as, you can't just make a Wing Commander right now. I mean, maybe you could with a budget. There was one I was looking at which was like a low poly, more kind of arcadey dogfighting game, but you're up against like impossible eldritch nightmares in space. Like, let's fucking go. Then there was Chorus, where you have like a sentient ship and you use witch magic to do like cool teleports and shit. Like, that was fucking cool. But it was the thing that stuck out to me with, what was the broadside-based blue-collar one? The first game was a flat plane one, and the follow-up was dogfighting. God damn it. No, not Everspace, but good shout, Cold Ankles. Rebel Galaxy points to V-Squid and Favor 6. So Rebel Galaxy was very, very good. If you never played it, let me just show you. I keep forgetting that I have all games available to just show you in front of me. So this is Rebel Galaxy. Now this is a real blue collar, and ironically, in this post kind of Firefly world we lived, a lot of people gravitated towards this because of the kind of like, yeah, blue collar, like classic country style of it. Now what's cool about this is that actually all the ships are on a plane, right? And while you can have ships that have fighters, predominantly you're flying larger and larger kind of battleships, with combat being mostly based around broadsides, which is cool. Its follow-up, Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, is fine, but that switched to a more traditional, like, you know, jet fighter style, and it didn't have the spark. It's good, it's just good. Yeah, it had the style and the gameplay, and it didn't feel like you needed to be forklift certified, yeah. Yeah, no, and the soundtrack was absolutely banging. You know, it really did understand that, you know, the music sets the tone. And plus, once you got up to some of the big ships as well, you really felt like a powerhouse. But the follow-up game, where is it? Oh, cool. Oh, wow. Publisher has been doing a lot of re-releases. All right. Rebel Galaxy Outlaw didn't land as hard. And I think the thing is that it wasn't bad. It was just, it felt like one part of something larger. You know, I like the fact that you actually played as, you know, what felt like a dogfighting, hard drinking pilot. You know what I mean? Hookshot says, is it too early for me to re-release my games? No. Or, okay, how you actually do it is another thing, but the marketing maneuver of a re-release, so long as it's got something with enough oomph, people might actually be like, fuck yeah. So yeah, Rebel Galaxy Outlaw did not sell as well as its previous, and it's just that interesting thing that they moved it into what they thought everybody wanted. More dogfighting, more action, more battles. And everyone was like, okay, it's fine, but where's that spark that the first one had? Now, let me show you Chorus. So here we go, space stuff like you know. We've got our traditional asteroids and big ships. We've got our dramatic dogfighting and, okay, that star just ate a planet. We've got some gangly aliens and some weird isometric shapes. But with this, it has that action hook. You know, you're basically using super witch magic in space. And actually, Hookshot, if you're being serious, I'm always down to help, like, strategize some ideas. You know? It's literally what I do. Someone was asking me if I was able to do, like, consultancy stuff still. And I'm like, yeah, but honestly, if you just want to talk vagaries and things like that, just come talk to me on stream. No. Anyway, space games are a weird one, right? They're incredibly expensive to produce, except for when they're not. And publishers are still super... What did I say about interviews on your store page? Publishers are still gun shy on like backing them, which is still weird. But it's that problem of like once the old guard gets locked into a certain way of thinking, the only way to change that is to release it yourself and then be like, what if it's game developer interview simulator? We call that media training.
Space games are easy. You plan it.
You plan it ahead. Erwin, thank you. Okay, I mean, Hookshot, that's what I'm here for. Like, I don't know how much longer my knowledge will actually be useful, you know, before I finally succumb to the sands of time and I'm just someone rocking back and forth in the corner talking about the Capcom 5, but, you know. Users are not annoyed by re-releases. Users are annoyed by being sold the same thing twice, and it usually being lower quality than what they remember the original. Rodster looks at Rebel Galaxy. 4 hours, 10 years ago. Seems like a good time to try it again. It is really good. No, joke's on you, Alnus. I'm only in... Oh, shit. I am in the corner. Legend says, none of news, Planet Craft needs elevators, but they're so hard to make. I mean, I love Planet Craft with my whole heart. I'm really looking forward to getting back into it at some point. But, yeah, the physics in it is not kind. Never, Verdant. My faith has never wavered. I've got a little altar and everything. This is to replace a series of 8 indoor ladders. Yeah, you do need some kind of yeet lobber. Hey? That's what Sir Frederick Durst, reciting the words of George Michael, said. Gotta have faith. He also said it's just one of those days. But the point I knew I was in a good mood today was I was making coffee and I spilt coffee beans everywhere. I actually have a photo of it. And I was gonna post it, but then I got distracted being productive. But I had that moment and then I just laughed to myself going, it's just one of those days. So Frederick Durst, getting through it. And Dustin, yep, it is Puzzle Sicko Gang. In let's say about 10 minutes, we're going to be getting back into blueprints. If you haven't seen the story so far, we are at the scratching at the big puzzles moments. We have seen the credits once. I don't know what else is coming. I don't know what else is there, but we're in the peak of the Puzzle Sicko Gang. Don't cry over spilled coffee. Okay, maybe a little. Well, it wasn't from your new batch, Aeon, so I think that's... I needed functioning coffee to go to the stool. Well, that's the thing, Dustin. It's just hours in a day. It's a good chunky font that just says Puzzle Sicko Gang. But we don't have like a Puzzle Sicko insignia. Yeah, and Aeon, I've been getting the little pods from Trader Joe's because they're affordable for just like coffee right the fuck now. And everything else has become a ritual. I coveted beans ground by hand. So Laoshi says, weird question, but what are the downsides of Nimble Indie pushing back a release date for a more open window? Most of your engaged audience will shift out with you, right? You'd need to do initial pushes. Like, they're not just going to shift, but I would advise it over going up against Slay the Spire Marathon and Pokemon in one day. Because the thing is, because we no longer have like central hubs of video game shit. I mean, what's the biggest gaming site? IGN. I don't usually go there because most of their stuff is a regurgitation, but you know, right now they're talking about the Xbox news, everything from the Capcom highlight. Yeah, it's all Marathon stuff, Capcom stuff. Oh, the Xbox and the Firefly rumors. You know, they have a whole thing about Pokemon, Poketopia, or Pokopia, or whatever it's called. You know what? I was about to be like, oh, here's something cool. I wonder who wrote it. It's Reb. Reb wrote it. Apparently, the National Video Game Museum managed to obtain the one-of-a-kind Nintendo PlayStation. As I'm sure you all know, Sony got into the video games business. Originally, they were going to be partnered with Nintendo, and then that didn't happen, so they were like, PlayStation? PlayStation. And then we were cursed forever. But yeah, like, we don't really have the same kind of video game monoculture that we had prior. But right now, there is not a sphere of video games that isn't dominated. Maybe mobile games, but again, mobile game lot, they get their game, they play it, and maybe they kind of casually search for something later. They're not in the habit of All right, emotional support Dreamcast music. Don't judge me. They're not in the habit of like going out their way to look for new releases that aren't based on existing IPs and stuff like that. You know. So right now, if you would plan to launch your game today and you move it 2 weeks, that is a smart play. Now, do you have the money to do that? Do you have the ability to do that? Who knows? You know, if you have managed to negotiate some things with third parties, you might not be able to, which is usually what happens. But, like, there's a really cool trend in video games where people cheer on other titles. Aggro Crab have a little Boing Boing, whatever his name is somewhere in Slay the Spire 2. I don't know in what capacity, but that's a really cool little thing, you know, homies helping homies. You know, saying to your audience, hey, we're going to be moving our launch window. We want to add some extra improvements. We want to add some extra cool shit. And also we're moving out of the way of these big folks. The people who are in your core audience will be a little frustrated, but they'll understand. Yeah, so Lyoshi, there's this term we use on the marketing side of things, which is like, you know, using up all the oxygen in the room. Even if you're not interested in Slay the Spire, or Marathon, or Pokemon, that is all that the media and, you know, surrounding content creators and streamers and numpties and what have you will be talking about, right? So to launch your game today, no one's going to get like a little word of mouth. And not because your game is bad, and not because people don't care, but because they're talking about something else. All the oxygen in the room has been used up by everything else. And it doesn't matter if you release a fucking masterpiece, right? Okay, obviously there is a threshold of your game could be so good that it punches through the noise. But let's be honest, the chances of that are slim. That's some winning the lottery while humming backwards. Which is what Little Fire and I were saying with the Resident Evil 9 supposed first solver. I'm still calling horseshit on that one. Sorry. An aside to an aside. Basically, the first person who claimed to have solved the Resident Evil super puzzle claims to have done it by accident. Now, I won't spoil it. If you want to go into Resident Evil 9 and then solve the super puzzle yourself, I recommend it. It's some Black Watchman tier puzzle sicko shit, and I love it. I'm so happy that we got to be a part of that before it got solved. But the person who says they solved it is usually I can't remember if it was Magic the Gathering or Pokemon card streamer. All they do is crack packs and play card games, but they decided to do Res Evil. Okay. And they just happen to do very specific things in a very specific order. And I'm just like, no. Oh, I guess it was just chance. No, it wasn't. The mathematical impossibility of solving that by pure luck. Nah. Again, I won't say what it is to do in case some of you want to avoid, you want to find that out for yourself, is totally fine. And again, I'm really proud of our little household because we managed to crack one of the big ones, which was no mean feat. So yeah. But yeah, Lyoshi, if there's specific titles you want to theory craft on, or strategies, I'm down to talk about them. It's just, it is much harder to know right now when you're going to get drowned out, right? Back in the day, because of how everything came together, you would know well in advance when a game is coming out and what the release schedule was looking like throughout the year. That's not the case anymore. And it's much easier to be snowblind because, we know about Slay the Spire, but Slay the Spire is not on any big publishing radar. Not it should be, but not to the extent of a Marathon. Now, Marathon should be on everybody's radar because it's a fucking Bungie shooter. Scarred Alaska, Watto and welcome. And Pokemon as well. Oh, sorry, yes. Holy Boss. Resi 9 is Resident Evil Requiem. And it's extremely good. And I say this as a Resident Evil lunatic. It's very good. So yeah, release windows are such a weird thing, and they don't have to be the be-all and end-all. They don't have to be the death nail. But the worst thing they can be is silent. Resident Evil 10, Resident Evil Lunatic. I'm actually in that. Surprise. And honestly, like, when it comes to this conversation, I'm sorry I'm obsessing on it. It's just, I get this kind of like, I don't know what it is. It's not secondhand embarrassment or anything like that. It's more like, I don't want to see games fail, even games I'm not attached to or involved with. There's very few games I desperately want to see them eat shit. And when a game that has that spark, or could have that spark, is completely smothered by a huge release, you know, I can't help but think, like, why didn't you get out of the way? Now, again, if that first release doesn't hit, you can do a second release, a total rework. Depending on the title, you can add something that will make journos go, huh? What? Huh? That's the challenging part. So you add a feature or something hyperbolic. If you're lacking in creativity, puzzles and prizes is always a good one. Puzzles and prizes. You know, I wouldn't recommend anything involving physical locations or geocaching right now, but hiding complicated puzzles inside your game and then offering some ridiculous rewards. Doesn't have to be expensive, but ridiculous. Ozine, Watto and welcome. Morning or afternoon is based on how you feel. Lunchtime is based on your soul. I mean, look, Layoshi, we're going to be playing Blueprints. I'm going to get it started. Yeah, I'm going to get it started now, but, you know, I love talking about this stuff because the thing is, you're probably not going to make a gigantic MMO or a huge space game, but you might make something that's weird and different and strange. It is very unlikely that between now and your release that you will have a Zalavir moment, or that you will hit upon some kind of like viral TikTok sensation. It's not impossible. So your release is a big part of that, and if it's an early access release, if it's a final release, you know, it is you stepping out onto the stage with your game, being like, hello, and how you do that, you know, and you can stumble so long as you know how to recover, right? I can't remember. Oh, God, you know, sometimes you get really good advice and you forget the name of the person who gave it to you. But when I was doing good old acting training and that stuff, I got told that it's not that you necessarily have to do every line perfectly. You just need to learn how to roll with it so that it feels like you did it perfectly. We can't all be Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet, all right? But we can be Bottom live on stage. No, seriously, if you want to learn how to recover a fumble There are a few recorded versions of the Bottom Live tour that were incredibly funny. Now, it's Rick Mail and Ed Edmondson, who are both masters of talking shit, improvising, and turning it around. But yes, if your character makes a mistake, make the mistake a character. Now, how do you do that with a video game launch? That is as unique as the games that you wish to create. You know what I mean? There are multiple methodologies for marketing your video game. There are multiple ways to go about it. The reason why most people go doing it the same way is because those systems exist and they are less risky and less scary. You know, it's less scary to give Keighley $1 million than it is to run your own strange underground marketing campaign for a year. And I know that seems stupid, like, holy shit, if you paid somebody, you know, paid somebody $1 million for a year, what could you do? Scotty says their first live one at the Mayflower is very funny, and it's on YouTube. Oh, sure. Scotty, throw it in Videodrome if you have a second. Because, like, I'm not saying that... I'm saying there are lessons to be learned. I'm not saying that you have to watch it, but there are lessons to be learned. It's really sad that a lot of US audiences only know, was it Guest House Paradiso? Which is... I mean, it's fine. I don't know. I was always a fan of The Young Ones, which is the mastercraft of anarchy, the perception of anarchy in controlled environments. Oh, yeah, Ehrman, complicated endeavor with a promised large prize. Molyneux has entered the chat. I mean, there's lots of things I will critique that man about, but his failure with what was it? His failure with the Cube was not the marketing of it. The failure was that he couldn't deliver. But you know what? We're still talking about the Cube. It's really frightening to think how much... Aeon, that is a very, very different conversation. I mean, I can only really talk about it in video game terms. It's always been kind of fascinating that when games publishing in the US was at its height, it was easier to get $2 million than $20,000. Yeah, make your first clue. There is no reward. This is for the love of the game. Now, I will say things like ARGs and in-game puzzles, there are communities that are very dedicated to that sort of thing. So you can put yourself on those radars, but the speed at which they churn through those doesn't necessarily turn into users. The Videodrome thumbnail is priceless. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, peak. Absolute peak. Okay. If you don't know, Bottom was a kind of the British It's Always Sunny. Two of the worst people ever are roommates. And they make their lives and the lives of each other consistently worse. But it's two folks that are masterclass in both physical and improvisational comedy. So the live shows are where you really get to see that, like, anytime they squiff up, the other one is on it. And I think that's a lot of, you know, video gamery marketing at least when you're a small little indie, it's like working with the things you have, rolling with what you've got. The worst thing that you can ever be is silent. God, one of the videos that really impressed me from donkeys years ago was from it was actually a Sega video back when, you know, Sega America was Sega America, and someone had contacted what was that diddly-o? Someone had contacted support for like a, hey, I can't seem to get my code to work with this game. And the response had been something like, have you tried a hard reset? And it went viral, people tore into it. So they did a day in the life at the Sega offices, and with people with everyday problems, and someone else would pop up and go, have you tried a hard reset? Like, it wasn't side-splittingly brilliant and funny, but they took a stupid moment, you know, they took a snafu and they rolled with it. And that's something that I've always held in high regard. Yeah, and Favor 6, that's the best way of describing it. I think some of my favorite comedies kind of feel along that lines of like, if you have the spectrum of two people who are terrible, and they're down, two people who are terrible in their adventures, you have bottom at one end of the spectrum and you have Fraser at the other, and somewhere between you have Big Bang Theory and It's Always Sunny. Except with Big Bang Theory, we're supposed to be rooting for them for some reason, and I don't know why. All right. So I'm gonna hit go in just a second. Is anybody tapping out to avoid spoilers? And just in case they're not about later on, seriously, Avenger, seriously fucking thank you for that. All right. Seriously. Well, so Lyoshi, silent is boring. If you post your patch notes in the woods and nobody reads them, do they make a sound? Okay. My beloved puzzle sickos, then let's go. I've got my interplanetary stickers ready. I got my book. I'll make a coffee in a sec. Jobs are fucking good. Okay, so I have been reading, shout out to everybody on YouTube, as well as all of your lovely selves who've been offering some drafting strategies. Things we are working towards right now. Finding out where to jam this small microchip. Yeah, so microchip, listing of all of the... Oh no! Bloody pages are coming out. That sucks. I'll have to take that back in a sec. There's quite a few puzzles we're working on. Last week, we managed to crack a bunch of big uns. Now, we got all of the information from the new clue, but we didn't manage to crack the cipher entirely. The new clue was pointing to specific books, specific pages, and specific words. But we didn't manage to work out specifically what words we needed. But we have written down everything from the new clue and recorded it. The classroom, trying to get it all the way to 8. And we've been trying to map every room that has a chess piece in it, so that once we can place I think we'd need to do the study, the office, either the bookshop or the rumpus room, the breakfast room. I think that gives us all of the chess pieces we need. Then we can go down to the precipice and place the chess pieces on the specific setups. We haven't worked out how to heat the freezer because plugging the freezer directly into the boiler did not work. And we still haven't opened anything in the vault yet. But the vault always tells us the date. We have a few ones like a broken handle in the casino. We cracked most of the pages in the music room, but we don't have pages 6 and 7. Also, we now know what the whole deal with the red notes is. So yeah. Are there rooms hotter than the boiler? Yes, the furnace. The problem is... Oh, excuse you. The problem is the furnace is a dead end. But yeah, so the red notes, the notes talking about our character's mum being on the lam. Basically, someone had gotten hold of a bunch of evidence to point that she wasn't dead, that she'd been smuggled out to avoid the regime. And they were basically blackmailing the Baron who left us the estate. But we still have 4 more of the red letters to go. We have now cracked the drawing room and... Oh, what was the other room we cracked? Oh, the drawing room and the office. So yeah. Now, someone was saying, open these 4 rooms first. Okay, sorry, open these 3 rooms first to give you a sense of what you're working from. Now, I've been doing it in rows. Okay, we've got Corriard. Ooh, coat check. Sounds good. Okay. The gear wrench we're using to up the commonality of the boiler and the water pump. So, yeah. There are a crap load of puzzles that I know enough to know that we're heading for. So, yeah. Ooh, I'm going to go shelter because I think the shelter computer is one of the ones we might be able to plug the socket into. And it also means we get protection from red today. Okay, maybe not. Beans. Baited soup and beans. Sorry, jumping back, Orzine says, I think the reason Deadlock is picking up steam is because people are posting videos about the character interactions. Oh yeah, the release of Rem has definitely sparked a little fire, but the thing about Deadlock is that they released it in a invite your friends to come play it manner, and so everyone's just been playing it. No one's really concerned. Like, Valve have basically been able to use the early access of it as a gauge of interest. You know, by the time Deadlock's ready to be officially announced, there's already a huge player base. Okay, the gems are not in this box. The gems are in this box. The white box is true. If these two are collaborating, that means that one of them is full of shit. And if the gems are not in this box, if that is the true statement, and these two are a lie, it means the gems are here, right? Right? I'm gonna do it. I'm a genius! Honestly, living with my massive intellect every day is, of course, a curse. I wake up being smart in the morning. I'm so incredibly smart all the time. Okay. Not great for cutting us off there, but... Oh, shit, that's brilliant. I can rotate. One more. Boosh. Honestly, Alnus, you know, one egotistical foot at a time. Okay. Yeah, Orzine, Valve don't need to rush it in terms of money. You know what? I'll go west. Oh, actually, we have protection from red, so let's get the chapel out of the way. Let's go hallway closet, just in case that gets us something. A reroll's not awful. Yeah. The bishop's in the chapel. Hang on, I used my... I need more bookmarks. So the new clue's here. Here we go. Yeah, we wrote down chapel bishop. Okay. Not amazing, not terrible. J-Post! Freedom! How are you doing, friend? Fucking breakfast nook. You've survived. Well done. We're talking about video game releases, and we're talking about, or I should say, we're talking about how to release your video game, or strategies if you biff it, and we're playing Blueprints. How are you? Okay, I'm going to redraw. Shit, I fucked up there. Alright, if anyone's keeping count, that is my first fuck up of this run. What I should have done was done a reroll from the drawing room, and I completely forgot. You have to be in the drawing room to get that reroll. You don't just get it for anything else. So I just biffed our dice. It's fine. We'll do Great Hall in case I get the chance to open it up later. So Aeon says, what are your thoughts on using a game launch to start a publisher? Totally fine. It needs to be about the publisher. Wait, Silver Key is guaranteed to be more doors, so that's good. Fuck. Oh, I might have fucked this run. Yeah, run's fucked. I still want to try and solve this room, but you need to be able to have access to all 4 doors for it. And there's no way to know which of these will be the one. Try this one. Yeah. Ah, well. No, Lyoshi. Oh, I could have rotated it. You know what? This is fine. We're just getting the cobwebs off. This is fine. We'll go down to the courtyard. Maybe we can. Oh, actually, depending on how the courtyard goes, we might be able to do the House of Mirrors.
Meat's back on the menu.
No shovel. Come on, morning room. You know what? I'll take the lab. I still think the lab is where I should have brought the computer chip, but there we go. See what we get experimentation wise.